In the top stories, the government says no final decision has been made on the proposed Destiny project. Regionally, the death toll in the MV Bereimma disaster has risen to 65, and at least 50 people are dead and 700,000 displaced by severe flooding in India's Assam state. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Major Newscast. Today is Friday, the 24th of July, and I am Jasmine Thomas. Locally, the government has issued an update on the proposed Destiny project in Nevis, confirming that no final decision has yet been made. The federal government and the Nevis Island administration held a high-level meeting on Thursday to address four major issues arising from the application by Destiny International Limited and South Nevis Limited. The issues were identified by the federal cabinet after reviewing input from the Special Sustainability Zones Ad Hoc Committee and the Independent Oversight Committee. Officials say the July 23 meeting resulted in key changes being proposed to the project. Those changes will now be presented to the federal government and referred to the Independent Oversight Committee before the matter returns to Cabinet for consideration. Prime Minister Terence Drew said the review process has already led to meaningful revisions to the original proposal. He also reaffirmed that no project in St. Kitts or Nevis will be allowed to override the Constitution or the laws of the Federation. The government says it will continue working with the NIA and will provide further updates as the review continues. Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew is calling for Africa and the Caribbean and the global African diaspora to build stronger economic partnerships. Delivering the keynote address at the Royal African Society's 125th anniversary business event in London, Dr. Drew said the shared history between Africa and the Caribbean should now lead to greater trade, investment, and business development. He described global Africa as one of the world's largest untapped investment opportunities. The Prime Minister said closer ties will require stronger trade routes, modern payment systems, better transport links, and greater movement between both regions. He also called for deeper cooperation between CARICOM and the African Continental Free Trade Area. Dr. Drew pointed to St. Kitts and Nevis's partnership with Afrexim Bank, its participation in Afri-Caribbean Investment Summits, and its selection to host the 5th Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum. He said Africa and the Caribbean should work as equal partners to expand trade, support entrepreneurs, and create more opportunities for future generations. Nationally, major crime in St. Kitts and Nevis declined during the first 6 months of 2026. That's according to Commissioner of Police James Sutton, who, accompanied by members of the Police High Command, presented the latest crime statistics during a media briefing on Thursday. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force recorded a 10.4% reduction in major crime compared with the same period last year. Police credit the decline to targeted operations, greater community support, and improved policing.
This reduction is not accidental. It is the result of the dedication of our officers, improved intelligence-led policing, stronger interagency cooperation, increased visibility through patrols, and the continued support of law-abiding members of our communities.
While major crime fell, Commissioner Sutton said attempted murders and larcenies remain areas of concern that will require a collective response.
Families, communities, schools, churches, youth organizations, and other stakeholders have a critical role to play in promoting peaceful conflict resolution and discouraging retaliation and criminal behavior.
The forces say it will continue to target violent crime, illegal firearms and property offenses while expanding intelligence-led policing.
Finally, I want to reassure the people of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis that your police force remain fully committed to protecting every community across our federation. While we are encouraged by the progress reflected in these statistics, we are not complacent. Every murder, every robbery, every assault, and every victim matters. Our objective is not simply to reduce, our objective is simply not to reduce statistics. Our objective is to build safer communities where every citizen and visitor can live, work, raise their families, and conduct business without fear. Together, through partnership, vigilance, and shared responsibility, I am confident that we will continue to make St. Kitts and Nevis one of the safest communities in the Caribbean.
Commissioner of Police James Sutton. On the regional scene, search and recovery operations following the MV Bereimma disaster have expanded, with teams from Trinidad and Tobago and Brazil now supporting the Guyana-led effort. The Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard and the Brazilian Navy are assisting with diving missions and other specialized operations at the site of the capsized vessel. Authorities say 19 vessels and 3 aircrafts are involved, while smaller boats continue searching inland waterways for any remaining passengers. 3 more bodies have been recovered, bringing the death toll to 65. 44 victims have so far been identified, while 23 bodies have been released to their families. The number of survivors remain at 76. Meanwhile, technical teams are assessing the safest way to right the MV Bereimma and give divers greater access to the vessel. As the recovery efforts continue, Guyana is observing 3 days of national mourning declared by President Irfan Ali. Hundreds of people gathered in Georgetown on Wednesday evening for an interfaith service in memory of the victims. Additional services are planned in Port Kaituma and Mabaruma. A Jamaican flight attendant employed by Southwest Airlines was detained by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, last week while on duty in Tennessee. Lorenzo Thompson was detained on the 14th of July at Nashville International Airport following a scheduled flight. According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, Thompson entered the United States legally in April 2021 on a visa that expired in October that year. The department alleges that he overstayed his visa and remained in the country. Thompson, who is reportedly seeking U.S. citizenship, will remain in ICE custody while his immigration case proceeds. A GoFundMe campaign launched to help cover his legal expenses said Thompson fled Jamaica in search of safety, has no criminal record, and has a pending asylum application. And at least 50 people are dead and 700,000 forced from their homes after days of heavy monsoon rain triggered widespread flooding in India's Assam state. The Brahmaputra River overflowed its banks, flooding villages, sweeping away homes, and forcing nearly 300,000 people into government-run relief camps. Officials say close to 900 villages are underwater, while more than 7,000 homes have lost electricity. Police disaster response teams and local volunteers are working to rescue stranded residents and deliver food and other essential supplies. Helicopters are also being used to drop relief items in areas that are difficult to reach. Experts say climate change is making South Asia's monsoon season more erratic, with shorter periods of intense rain increasing the risk of severe flooding. And the South African court has ordered a temporary halt to impeachment proceedings against President Cyril Ramaphosa. The case centers on more than $580,000 US in cash stolen from Ramaphosa's Fala farm in 2020. Lawmakers began the impeachment process in June after a parliamentary report found that he had a case to answer over the handling of the theft. Questions have also been raised about the source of money, whether the foreign currency was properly declared, and why the theft was not immediately reported to police. Ramaphosa is challenging the parliamentary report and asked the court to pause the impeachment process until that review is completed. The Western Cape High Court agreed, although the impeachment committee can continue with other preparatory work. Ramaphosa's office says he welcomes the ruling and will continue to cooperate with all accountability processes. Political parties are now studying the judgment and considering whether to appeal. And now for a look at the weather forecast. Temperatures will reach a high of 33 degrees Celsius or 91 degrees Fahrenheit with a low of 26 degrees Celsius or 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Today will be partly cloudy with a 40% or moderate chance of showers. Tonight will remain partly cloudy with a 30% or low chance of showers. Winds will blow from the east at 19 to 30 kilometers per hour or 12 to 18 miles per hour. Seas will range from 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Sunset today will be at approximately 6:47, while sunrise will be at around 5:48 tomorrow. That brings us to the end of the Midday Major Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jasmine Thomas. God bless you.